Hello, my name is Skip, and this is From the Fourth Row's review of Boyhood. Now, Boyhood is the latest film from Richard Linklater, who directed such films as Bernie, Me and Orson Welles, and the Before trilogy. I would say this is probably his most ambitious movie yet, considering it took him 12 years to film this movie. Boyhood is about this family. Ethan Hawke plays the father, Mason Sr., and his son is portrayed by Eller Coltrane, Mason Jr. Now, their sister, Samantha, is portrayed by Lorelei Linklater, the daughter of Richard Linklater. Now, the mother is portrayed by Patricia Arquette of the famous Arquette family. Now, there isn't anything just that stands out that's just extravagant and just incredible about this movie, except for the fact that it's just an amazing movie, and it takes you to a place in these people's lives where you're just going through their lives with them. You're being introduced to new things. In Eller Coltrane Mason's life, he's getting introduced to women, and he's introduced to these new men that his mother meets, and so he has to try to acclimate to each one of these different men that she meets, and that's a challenge for him. And then he has to go to different schools, so you see how he adjusts to the different schools. And the thing about this is, anybody can relate to this movie with their own life, because I think that, everybody has different situations in their own life. You've been a 6-year-old kid, and you've had to adjust to new schools or problems with your parents' relationship or whatever, and between those ages of 6 to 18, you are trying to find yourself, and I think that's what Mason is doing in this movie. He's trying to find who he is, and there's a really great scene in the movie where Patricia Arquette, mom in the movie, she starts crying, and she talks to Mason as he's 18 years old, and she says, "I just thought it would be different when you were leaving and you were going off to college. I just thought it would be a bigger thing," but it's not. It's like everybody's kids are doing this. They're growing up, they're going off to college, they're going to high school, they're going off to college, and so forth. But this movie does it in such a way that it's a transcending way, and that's what's really incredible about this movie. There's no notice when they go from the children, Lorelei and Eller's, Samantha and Mason, go from 6 to 7 to 8 to 9. The movie just goes on, and you just see them grow up in front of you on the screen. And I think that's what's the most amazing part about the movie, is you can relate to them growing up and finding their way in the world as a teenager and so forth. At least I could, and that's why this movie is such a fantastic movie for me, because I saw myself as a little kid or a teenager in Mason, and the things that he was going through and the places he was going with his life. And I think we all had a hard time growing up. We all had to fit in, and we all had to deal with the things that our parents were doing. We didn't like what our parents were doing and telling us to do, or go do your chores or whatever, but you had to do them. You had to do them, and everybody was there. Everybody's been there. And I just think Boyhood is one of the most phenomenal movies I've ever seen, because it takes the everyday, the mundane, and turns it into something incredible. And these were first-time actors, Eller Coltrane and Lorelei Linklater, and I mean, you wouldn't even know by the end of the movie that these guys hadn't acted before in their lives. Well, considering by the end of the movie they had acted 12 years in a row. Little vignettes of their life, and that's the part that's amazing. They take the little vignettes and turn it into a great movie. So I give Boyhood a big see it. This is Skip, and this has been my review of Boyhood from the fourth row.